one-handed. Y'all saw what happened. It's a big mistake. You mess with the big fish, USA. We run boxing. You don't run boxing. We run boxing. I've been about this life, son. I've been about this life.
Keith one-time Thurman goes up against Sebastian the Tower of Inferno Fundora, October 18th on Prime Video pay-per-view. Yeah, that's right. We still got pay-per-view going on with the PBC side of things. Seem like a lot of organizations or entities is getting out of the pay-per-view model, but this is not about pay-per-view. This is about Keith one-time Thurman and his battle against the Tower of Inferno, Sebastian Fundora.
I need y'all to get the likes up, man. Get the likes up.
WBC Super Welterweight Champion, right? Keith one-time Thurman finds himself in a world title shot, and that's good for Keith one-time Thurman because he's in the fourth quarter of his career, and he got to make it happen, right? Last we heard about Keith, he was in negotiations for a fight with Virgil Ortiz, which was also a good fight, but for whatever reason, it just didn't happen. Maybe because he had this one in his back pocket. But this fight with Fundora is a really good one. It's a really, really tricky and interesting one, to say the least. Keith one-time Thurman is the guy that's listed probably like at, what, 5'8", with a 69-something inch reach, maybe 70-inch reach, against a dude that's 6'6", and arguably one of the longest reaches and the heights in the sport of boxing today in Sebastian Fundora. It's going to be a really, really tall mountain to climb in Sebastian Fundora. And I think Sebastian Fundora is actually getting better at using his range and his reach and things of that nature, right? So it's going to be one of those things to where when these guys get in there with Fundora, it's not going to look like a traditional boxing match. It's going to look like a freak show fight. These guys are going to be running around the ring, trying to find ways to get in the inside and not get blitzed by Fundora, right? They're going to have to find a way to not get peppered by his jab consistently or that straight right hand. You know, Sebastian Fundora don't even got to necessarily throw things hard. He just got to throw punches. And the longest punches land is going to accumulate and start to do some damage. But, yeah, man, this is the latest news. Keith one-time Thurman is going to be getting the world title shot against Sebastian Fundora. Do he deserve it? I say, I think this is a more of an in-house thing, too, right? I think this is more of an in-house situation because Keith Thurman is one of the guys that's still very loyal to Al Heyman and PBC. And this is be an in-house event with Fundora and Keith one-time Thurman to where they ain't got to deal with Golden Boy or DAZN or anything like that. But it's a really good fight, man. A really good fight. I don't know who's going to win, but I'm rooting for Keith Thurman in this one. It'll be hard for me to root against him. You know, when you got a guy that's aesthetically, when it's going to be looking like that, you know, a guy that's going to be looking like a giant versus a guy that's looking like, you know, it's hard for me to root. It'll be hard for me to root against Keith one-time Thurman. You know what I'm saying? It'll be hard for me to root against him because, I mean, that's a task. That's a challenge. You know, much smaller guy going up against a dude that's just that big. You know, you'll be looking crazy to be rooting against a guy that big, beat up on everybody just is so small, in my opinion. But yeah, man, it should be a good fight, man. I'm not quite sure. Actually, a smaller man than Tim Tszyu, so I'm really curious to see how Keith could approach this fight. Now, Keith definitely has the more speed than Fundora, and probably more than anybody that Fundora has faced. So, yeah, at 36 years old, we're going to see what Keith Thurman got. We're going to see if he can rise to the top once again. Keith Thurman only got one loss in his career, and that was at the hands of Manny Pacquiao. We're going to see if Keith Thurman become a world champion in his second weight class against the Tower of Inferno, Sebastian Fundora. But tell me what you guys think. Keith Thurman, Sebastian Fundora, it goes down October 18th. Like, subscribe, holla at your boy. Peace out.